First of all, it has to have a private counseling, know exactly the background of the girl, whether she was religiously committed before or not, whether she's been with a man or not, because the answer will depend on the circumstances and the different stages that the child went through their childhood. There is no secret recipe. I would say, okay, take this paper, soak it in water, and drink it, then your daughter will come back to you. There is no such thing. If the parents were negligent for so long until the girl is 14 or 16, then it is too late. Then your best bet is just to make dua that Allah will guide her. Because she's like any non-Muslim or local person who doesn't know about Islam. They were not introduced to Islam. But if somebody was raised in the shade of Islam, in the Muslim community, and sometimes we divert a little bit right, a little bit left, but we still control the bridle, and there are means of bringing the person back to the pen of Islam. So it differs and it varies from an individual to another. It's not a simple nor a short answer.
Yeah. What can we do about those sisters who bring their young children for prayer or halaqat, and then they let them run free, causing people to lose their attention?
The solution is very, very simple and cheap. I would like for all the ladies to come and attend, even if they have children whom they nurse, because it is very important, especially in this society, for women to learn. The problem is when women are sitting home and they do not know anything about the deen and they're missing a lot. So attending those classes and halqas are of a great significance and importance. So how to solve the problem of the children? I would just advise you to visit any local church and see what they do on Sunday service. What do they do? Daycare. They have a see-through glass. They have a babysitter. They deposit the babies. Maybe the church will take care of that. Or you can just pay $1 to $5. Yeah, it's like a cup of coffee. You don't have to drink coffee today, ma'am, and just pay for the babysitter. Same thing with the brothers. I take my kids with me to the salah, no matter what happens, and they love it. They think this is their joyful moment. Like, because you attract them and say, okay, if you finish your homework, I'm going to take you with me to the masjid. So the masjid is not a mean of punishment, rather it's a mean of reward. So they contemplate the idea that I'm going to the masjid, I'm going to the masjid. And when I was a couple of weeks ago in Egypt, that I lined up my kids next to me. They're very responsible, alhamdulillah, shukla, and somebody wanted to send them back. I said, I don't think so. He said, oh, they're too young. I said, but they're responsible, and they know Quran more than you do. They're going to stand up here and line up here. So after the salah, he came to me and said, I apologize, I didn't know that he was expecting them to run around and so on. If they run around, then it's haram for me to keep them in the masjid. Put them in the quiet room where they can see us and I can lay an eye on them and so on, but not to disturb the community. But you must bring your kids with you to the masjid on a regular basis. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and he was the Prophet, was giving the khutbah and he saw a young girl. She was Umama, his granddaughter. She was being coupled wearing a long dress. She was falling on her face. So he interrupted Khutbatul Jum'ah and he descended. He went through the lines and he picked her up. Then he went back to the member and he resumed. And he said, Sadaq Allah al-Azim, Nama amwalukum wa awladukum fitnah. And he was leading the prayer once and he went for sujood and it took him so long that the companion thought that he's dead. And when he finished the salah, he said, Ya Rasulullah, what happened to you? We thought you expired. Oh, I said, no, it's my son, Al-Hasan or Hussein. He was riding on my back, making me a horsey. So I did not want to disturb him. In the salah. So we need to explore those sound incidents in order to understand that we have to involve our minors and youngsters with us in the community, bring them to the masjid, and from the age of 15 months, 16 months, when the kids seeing through the glass or the window how the parents pray, what happens? When I buy this little musalla, if I go for Hajj or whatever, and I leave it at home, automatically, 2 years old, 2 years old, when I spread my prayer rug or janamaz in order to pray, the child 2 years old would run to bring his or hers and spread it and pray next to you. Why? It is not because you discipline them and you have to pray right, because they don't know, but they imitate. They imitate. When a little girl is seeing her mother showing her navel, wearing short t-shirt and so on, she would do the same exactly, and she would not have any problem with that. When a girl is seeing her mother wearing the scarf or wearing a hijab, so she developed this taste, and she does not have a problem at the age of 9 starting wearing the hijab. Do you have this room here?
Yes, we do.
Okay, so that should be the solution. And also you can open a window here, so it will be see-through where they can also see you. You can lay your eyes on them, and you can feel comfortable while they are around you. Faddali.
Yes, Sheikh, I hope you can help us with this. Mostly it's the administration of most of the events that make these decisions, right? But what I've noticed is that they think babysitting is a money-making industry. So they want to make an event, and they don't want the children to bother anybody, right? So they make babysitting $50 a day per child.
That's a lot.
And haram. I mean, and then sisters can't come because either the husband won't pay for the babysitting, or because other women bring their kids anyway, and the sister's thinking, why am I paying $50 for babysitting when these kids are here making noise?
It should be only the cost price, meaning if we hire a lady or one of the sisters who's going to charge $50 a day, so if we have 50 kids, that's $1 per child. It should not be money making, because those classes are as important as breathing, as eating and drinking. So for a woman, and I believe every woman of you sisters must have a child sometime, and she will be held back from attending because maybe she cannot afford to pay the $50. So $50 is too much. It's too much. It would be only proper to charge the cost price.
My second complaint is what they want to do.
Is it a
entertain
complaint?
them.
Okay.
Yes. They think it's acceptable to show them movies, Walt Disney, such as this, and they don't want to give the money for like very cheap arts and crafts that could be oriented in Islam, like doing the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or like every day of Ramadan having a different activity, and providing it for the children, and this is the solution.
May I ask you for a favor?
Sure.
Can you write all your suggestions in one sheet with regards to the activities which could be practiced during the babysitting time, and give it directly to Brother Ikram? And I promise that he will be more than happy to adopt that. Okay? I'm taking some heavy tools with me from here because I love to have the children around me and do some art craft. They would be obsessed with that, and that would be their best moment to watch and start doing by themselves. The best classes we used to run here is art class. So those activities, babysitting is not about just sitting and watching the kids. It's not a nursing home for adults. But we can benefit out of this time, because if you have a child who's 1 year old enjoying those kind of activities, he will pick the same of a child who's 3 and 4 years old. Because the average age would enable the child to explore different ideas and adopt them the same. You will be amazed when he would hold the brush and do things similar to one who's 3 or 4 years old doing. So we can be creative and make use of this time. I will just take this question from the sister, and I'm not taking any questions verbally unless we finish the written ones, okay?
We have 20 minutes left.
Alaikum salam.
What we talk about here, that the sisters, you think that her kids are, mashallah, so polite that they're going to sit next to her. But apparently, after 5 or 6 minutes, he's bored sitting there and he just run all over. And she doesn't take the initiation of going and take him to the room and sit with him.
Yesterday, I was giving the khutbah, and one of the brothers had his son with him. But he did not recognize, because you don't pay attention when your son is making noise. You're just busy with the son. But I started having headache. So I pointed to him that enough is enough. You have to understand that he's your son, but he's not everybody else's son. He can tolerate your children, but he cannot ask everybody to tolerate a child who's running around, who's making noise. So you have to keep in mind that I entered